always a pleasure to see you. And I'm going to have to apologize to everybody out there because if anybody thinks that I'm a stalker of Julie, because we've been doing so many interviews
I
in
know.
during the pandemic, I am not stalking her. It's just that I have so much respect for her and everything that she does. And every time something is happening with her, I want to talk to her. So that's the reason why. Julie, it's great to see you.
Well, thank you. You too. And holy fitness. You're keeping that fitness up, eh, Rudy? You're looking good.
Weight's starting to come off. You know what I you don't want to know what I was eating beforehand, but the weight is coming off, and I'm looking forward to actually getting back in the gym. But like I said, you always look amazing. Right off the top, I have to say congratulations on what you did. You, Cardi, Mishimi, what a performance at the Juno Awards representing hip hop, R&B. What did it feel like being part of that celebration?
Oh my goodness. Uh, it's interesting. Cardi and I were talking about it. Like, when we were coming up, we didn't do it for 20 years later. We were so present and like having a good time and just trying to fulfill our dreams. And fast forward 20 years is like living legends, pioneers, all the words that they've attached to our names. And it's like, wow, you know, to think that as first generation Canadians, we're able to make history in Canada, it makes our parents' sacrifices that much more meaningful, right? And it also, on the other hand, let me realize that there's still too big of a gap between generations. So there's much more work to do systemically, and faithfully, this is the beginning of a true revolution for Black music to be recognized on par, note for note, pound for pound, dollar for dollar. Okay, yeah.
Which is so important too. And as we use that word celebration, July 1st is a celebration. You are part of a celebration with that, with our nation, and you're co hosting an event that really is representing coast to coast. What is exactly and how is the country involved in this?
Yeah, this year's quite different, in honor of our Indigenous brothers and sisters, what they're experiencing, they've been experiencing their whole lives, and what's come up right now with residential school and the my good friend, he's Indigenous, and he said this isn't a discovery, this is confirmation. And he said that this morning to me, and I was like, we need. It's like the world needs to stop saying we've discovered these bodies, etc. Like, no, this is confirming what many have already knew. And so, being here as host and performing, the last week has been we've had to stay on our toes, and I've had to make some serious career decisions in one deciding to step down from singing the national anthem until it sits in my spirit and I'm able to, really represent the true North strong and free.
Mhm.
There's that, as well as asking them to change the finale song from Seven Day Fool to either my song Running or I Traveled. And I'm glad that the organizers, they were okay with it. Otherwise, I wouldn't perform. I actually was like, I'm gonna step down. As Black people, we've asked people to ally for us, and in this instance, the shoe's kind of on the other foot, where it's like I don't know as much about Indigenous history, but what I do know is how I can be a part of some sort of healing, some sort of peace. You know? Yeah.
So, what are we exactly going to see? Because this, of course, this event is going to be on CBC. It is going to be on July 1st. What are we
Mhm.
be seeing exactly? Because again, we are going from coast to coast with this.
Yeah, so we're going to see artists from coast to coast. We're going to see indigenous representation off the jump, like, without making it a spoiler alert. Just really set your alarms. Be ready for when that show starts. The top of the show is going to be incredible. And throughout the whole show, pardon me, I feel like a sneeze wants to come. It's interesting in the day of like COVID, you can't even sneeze or cough. I'll be like, oh, wait, wait, wait. um, but you're gonna see Veronique and I. We have some great chemistry. Even on Zoom, we realize that we are of like minded in heart and spirit. So I'm looking forward to co-hosting with her and dancers and lights and drones, and it's gonna be a big thing. It's a big thing.
You said something in the beginning, and which is so important. Is this a new beginning, do you think, in how we represent um, July 1st? Because, of course, this year is a very emotional year. Do you think things
Right.
are going to change as we go into the future? Because we cannot hide anymore on things that have happened in the past. If there's anything that I can say that has come out of COVID-19 is we have seen so many truths um, finally being, as you said, confirmed. Do you see
Yeah,
in the future as we uh, celebrate ourselves?
I love
Do you,
that.
do you think things will be done differently in the future?
Well, Rudy, do I hope things will be done differently in the future? I'm
That's
hopeful.
mhm.
Yeah, thinking it and hoping it, two different things. Do I think things will be done in the future, in the near future? Not necessarily. If I were to be totally, if I were to base it off of my own Black experience, I think that the world and Canada in particular tends to react, and it's time to listen and learn and then respond. So I'm hopeful, yes. Um, and I have to hold faith for that. One thing that I said the other day is, again, as a woman of color, a Black woman, straight up, flat out, I don't even say color, Black person, um, I realized that the issues that Black people have experienced systemically, anti-Black racism, etc., has kind of been moved down the conveyor belt.
Mhm.
And as it's anti-Asian and everything matters. Don't get it twisted. However, from my own lived experience, it's like, am I to just zip it now because there's another revelation? There's been more confirmation, or how? So my question to myself and to the country is, how do we come together and serve all communities who have been disenfranchised and straight up systemically brutalized, where one isn't overstepping the other? How does that happen? And I really want to engage the white community. How, think of ways that you will be able to um, support and ally all of us.
Absolutely. It's funny because I had a conversation with Cardi a few days ago, and it will be posted on Rudy Blair Entertainment Media, rudyblairmedia.com. And he had a lot of really important things to say that I was like, that's exactly how I'm feeling, and those are the things I want to see. To me, one of the biggest words right now is education, because the education that I had when I was young um, was, I can almost say, a lie in a lot of ways, and I had to go out and search my own education to discover things.
Yeah.
Is education, do you feel, important starting in the younger, much younger generation to really talk about what has happened, what really has happened,
Right.
and how we can change the future?
Absolutely. In 100 Strong and Sexy, we have a phrase that we say, that's my women's and girls empowerment organization. We say, educate to elevate. So that's the only way elevation is going to happen, is through education, and also being totally honest in the things that you don't know. It's okay to say, I don't know, but I'm willing to learn. Help me understand. I say that more often these days. Well, you know what? Okay, so help me understand. So everyone needs to drop the pride, pick up humility, recalibrate some of your time, and put it in areas where how are we transferring our capacity? Are we doing too much of one thing and too little of another? We got to get back to reading. I run a book club for that very reason. We're on our seventh book. We've been round the clock. Every 100 days we pick another book. So, I think as adults sometimes we get into this mode of responsibility, and it's external, and it's kids, and it's work, and it's career, and all the things. It's like, okay, but what about we have to serve our insides, our mental and emotional wellness, and be able to speak. We don't have to be the smartest person in the room. Just be able to make a contribution to the conversation. That's it. Your own personal contribution.
And I think that's a good start in being, if I can use the term, a Canadian. I think that's the way that we have to function as we move into the future and understanding truly what has happened in the past. This is going to be a very unusual and different celebration on July 1st. I don't think it's going to be anything that I've ever experienced. And I don't think it's going to be anything that anybody in this country has experienced. And the fact that you are in the helm of being able to do this presentation, I think is very, very important for the spirit that you are. So thank you for being part of this.
Thank you, Rudy. Thank you. I'll tell you something, when I kind of looked at my career in my mind years ago, even as a young girl, it was all the things which are still cool, the accolades, the awards, this, that. But let me tell you what's been happening since 2018 with Canada Reads. I'm going to go back then.
Yeah.
That, TSN turning point. That was a pivotal time that really had me realize that my purpose in being a bridge, being a connector, I've got this tattoo on purpose, and embracing it and loving it and feeling so wealthy and successful in being able to contribute and have a voice and have a presence. Sometimes, people ask me to speak or etc. I say, let me be, just give me a seat at the table. Let me listen. Let me soak it into. Let me just be a presence. And I'm excited. So same thing with Canada Day. I played before. I think it was 2010, maybe 2012 or something, and that was fun. And we did the lights and the dancers and. But this year, what this year feels like, and to be able to say, hey, you know what? Here are my thoughts. Here's what I will do. Here's what I won't do. Ensure you have Indigenous representation. Ensure you have Black representation. Let's go across Canada. Blah, blah, blah. Game changer. Now, I feel like I'm on my Oprah. I feel like I'm on my Oprah right now.
Always, always. Jully, thank you so much for speaking to me about this.
Thank you.
I will say happy July 1st, and let's look at being able to enjoy the future where a nation can truly come together and heal. Thank you so much for this, and thank you for everything that you do.
It's my pleasure. Take care.